David Ellefson, during his tenure in the band, was one of the most popular members of Megadeth, but unfortunately, he was unceremoniously dismissed from the group back in 2021, personally by Dave Mustaine, after some explicit video of him was leaked onto the internet. And now David Ellefson is speaking out, saying that he feels much better since he's been out of the band, and really he feels as though Megadeth has had their quality as a band diminished over the last previous 5 years. And he just kind of feels like the band has peaked. And personally, he's been experiencing some success with his band Kings of Thrash. And he says that Dave Mustaine can't stand the idea that he can have that success outside of Megadeth independently from that band. Here's more. Before we continue, if you're new to Rockfeed, for the latest rock news and updates about your favorite bands, hit that subscribe button with notifications on. When David Ellefson was let go by Megadeth, he said his team told him they've never seen something so unethical in their lives and he should fire back on every front as he sees fit as a result of that. But he said he actually chose to sit back and let the music speak for itself. And his project, Kings of Thrash, is really gaining some steam out there, and people really seem to be enjoying what he's doing with that. And he says that Dave Mustaine can't stand the idea of him having that kind of success outside of Megadeth. Here's what he had to say in a new interview with Metal Edge magazine, which I've linked to in the description. Speaking on his dismissal from Megadeth back in 2021, he said, "I think it was unnecessary, and it was undoubtedly done with spite and bitterness, which I did not deserve. Considering all that I've done for Megadeth, and all that I've tolerated over the years, I'd say the whole thing was uncalled for. And it certainly was not what we discussed regarding how the transition would happen. What went down came blindly out of nowhere, so I basically had the option to take it or retaliate, which I was given free license to do. My team said, hey, if you want to go at this guy, go for it. We've never seen something so unethical on every level. Do what you need to do. But I just said, no, I'll just sit back and let it sort itself out and let the music do the talking." He was asked whether or not he feels that Dave Mustaine is intimidated by the music Ellefson is releasing and the success he's having independently of Megadeth. He said, "I do. Also, I think he hates the idea of me succeeding outside that arena, because now I get to be the one who helps create the music, makes the decisions, and basically be in charge. It wasn't that way in Megadeth, which I think many people know by now. But people love that band because of the music we created together. Those songs will stand forever, despite all the stuff that happened behind the scenes. So when all that went down, I just said, we have a great legacy, but it's over now. Do you want to have a shootout or let the music speak for itself? I choose to let the music speak for itself, and I think that speaks volumes. I'm pretty convinced that the stuff I've put out since leaving Megadeth is as good or better than anything they've done." Ellefson feels that Dave Mustaine is merely intimidated by the success he's having, which is why he continues to take shots at him and his fellow bandmates in Kings of Thrash through the media. He said, "It's 100% why that's been happening. I've watched the quality of Megadeth diminish over the last 5 years, which was very frustrating. I'd bring ideas to the table and try to help the situation, but those ideas would be either shut down or removed after the fact. It was very aggressive and frustrating to be intentionally diminished or removed from the process. So I said, okay, I see what's going on here. An old saying goes, kids that don't share their toys don't have friends. So I just said, I'll take my toys and play with someone else. This is simple shit you learn in kindergarten, but not so much in that band." Dave Mustaine announced the decision to terminate David Ellefson from the band on May 24th, 2021, which was a controversial decision met with outrage from some fans. He said in the statement, "We do not take this decision lightly. While we do not know all the details of what occurred, with an already strained relationship, what has already been revealed now is enough to make working together impossible moving forward." This was not the first time David Ellefson had departed from the band. In 2004, Ellefson filed an $18 million lawsuit against Mustaine, alleging he had shortchanged him on profits and backed out of a deal to turn the band over to him when they broke up in 2002. Eventually, the lawsuit was dismissed, with Ellefson returning to the band in 2010 until his departure in 2021. And with all of that said, I don't think these guys are done working together. I really don't. I think that they actually both probably care a lot about each other when it comes down to it. And I think that there are probably some hard feelings right now, but the fans love David Ellefson. I mean, you can say whatever you want, but David Ellefson is a very important part of the history of Megadeth. I think Dave Mustaine knows that as well. And, I think that if someone placed a call to David Ellefson and they were able to work things out. Maybe he could return to the band, but if he didn't return to the band, he's got Kings of Thrash, and he's got a lot of anticipation and hype around that as well. And Megadeth, of course, is still doing very great, regardless of what David Ellefson is saying about the music. I mean, it speaks for itself. That was a big album they just put out. They went on that huge tour with Five Finger Death Punch. They're playing big shows in Canada as recently as a few weeks ago. So Megadeth is also as active as they've ever been. But I want to know what you think in the comments. Mainly, I'd like to know, do you think that David Ellefson could ever return to Megadeth at some point in the future? So that is your latest update from Rockfeed. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on for the latest news and updates, and join the conversation over on Instagram.